Hi everybody. Wanted to show you my chuck box that I built. It was inspired by Lance, Lance's woodshop. I decided on this model after watching many YouTube videos and doing a lot of research on what it was that I wanted long term, 10, 20 years down the road. What am I going to still be happy with? And this is what I decided to go with. As you can see, there's yellow tape with inch markings to help illustrate the size of the box, which was one thing I had a hard time figuring out when I was watching all these videos. And when I watched Lance's, I was really trying to figure out how big everything was. I didn't want it to end up surprisingly tall or surprisingly short, or just whatever. I just wanted it to work well for me. Which he says to do. You got to build it to your specifications, so that's what I did. So I had to do a lot of figuring out as far as how big this thing needs to be, tall-wise, and all that. And the thing I started out with is I made the legs first, because I wanted a working height of 34 inches, and that is based upon the fact that your average stove height is 36, but I had to do a little bit of compromising because I got a barbecue grill I wanted to put on here that is a bit higher, so I didn't want that height to be something that was uncomfortable to do. And then the stove, I didn't want it to be too low, so I decided upon 34, so it's kind of a little bit of a compromise there. So let me set this thing up for you and show you how it looks when it's all set up. The dimensions here, this is ended up being 17 inches tall with a slight inset in recess for the box so it doesn't slide off or anything like that. And then you put the box up on top of the feet. And that's how tall it is once it's up on the stand. This is for a barbecue grill to make it big enough to sit on here. Otherwise, it would just tend to fall off. The reason I didn't flap that over, I wanted to give you these dimensions. The drawer width is approximately 12 inches. And this is not 12 inches, this is about 11 and a half. And I will get into that a little bit later as to why these aren't the same width. I had an issue with some clearance that I want to discuss later. Anyhow, this is what it looks like. This is all the stuff that I need. It's got some food in it just for the video. I'll take that back out. But other than that, it's got everything that I need pretty much for going camping for a few days. This right here, it'll go right here. Lance had a 2-burner stove, and I can't remember the last time I used 2 burners, so I went with something that would only have a single burner. And my single burner tanker stove, if you will, is right up here in a little slot that I made. I screw a bottle onto it, and it just drops right into there, and there we go. I got my single burner, and then here I have a platform I can put my barbecue grill. It needs to be just a little bit bigger than what the box came out to be, so I came up with this little, doesn't hardly weigh anything, it's 1/4 inch plywood birch that I set on there, and it fits perfect. Then I got food storage here in the middle. I've got pots and pans here. I got this little pan. I can take the handle off so it fits in here nice. Coffee pot right in there. I put drawer liners so it'll reduce the rattling. Things don't slide around quite so much and all that. So I have also even some shims, because we all know that we're not going to go camping in a perfectly flat spot all the time. So I got these little shims that, if you need to, you can stick under the legs, kind of keep things level on unlevel ground. So that's something that I think will help me out. I've got spices up here. I only need salt and pepper. Plus I got a little eye drop bottle full of dishwasher fluid or dish soap. I got cups and tiki torch because I like the tiki torch. I got a coffee cup in there. Paper towels, an aluminum foil here, a can of bug spray. I can put 2 bottles of propane in here plus a lantern. I got a small, it's a tight fit. Oh, that's a lantern, believe it or not. It's in a bag. I'm not going to take it out. And what else do we got? Paper plates over there. We got shit paper here. A little bit of a first aid kit. I got Band-Aids in a box back there. Some calamine lotion here. And then a drawer full of utensils, knives, plastic bags, trash bags, and that sort of thing there. What I do want to add later is going to be a, right here I want to drill a hole through there, put a shepherd's hook for the lantern. That way it'll swing left or right. You know, if I want to illuminate the grill or illuminate the stove or whatever, I can, you know, move it closer to either side that way. The cost of this thing, when I went to Home Depot to buy everything, I ended up spending about $175. So I was hoping to get by with a little bit less than that, but that's how much it cost. Could I sell it for $175? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. You never build these things to make any money. You just build them to make yourself happy. That's what I do. One of the problems I had when I built this thing, I had a couple of shits. What I didn't account for when this thing is all closed up. Let me put this back. When it's all closed up, I forgot to account for the fact that the hinges stick out probably 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch, and here too. When I first discovered that issue, what happened is I made this a little bit too small, so I was able to kind of notch out a little groove right here in the leg to accommodate that. And then when I put this on, I did the same thing again. So what I had to do is I had to move the hinge inward to where it doesn't stick out at all past here, and that is why, when I said earlier that this piece here is not quite as wide as this, that is why. If you wanted to make them exactly the same width and have the hinge stick out, you have to account for that when you build this leg assembly to account for those hinges for clearance. The hardware that I use is essentially identical to Lance's. I use piano hinges. I cut them to length. I bought the 2 4-footers, and they're not exactly the same length, but I cut off the lengths that I needed, and I only needed 2. These heavy-duty handles that he suggested, I use those same exact ones. They're in the gate section at Home Depot, like he said. They're about, I think, about $3 or $4 a piece. I got this latch right here that they come in a set of 2. I only needed 1. A couple things that I did add. Well, I did the drawer liner, and then I added, you might be able to see them, some felt bump stops, bumpers. That way when you slam the thing down, it doesn't scratch. Plus it keeps it all square. If you didn't have that, it would be a little bit high here, and then it'd be rubbing here. And I also put some, they're actually on the leg, but it helps to keep the actual box up a little high, so it clears this a little bit better. And then I don't have any rubbing issues there. So this is my chuck box, and I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope that the dimension portion of this helps you out a little bit more, because That was one of the big things that I had was what did the dimensions need to be? You know, how wide, how tall, and I was afraid. Initially, I thought this would be 20 inches tall, and if I really made it that tall, it would be obnoxiously too high for me. Otherwise, I'd have to have a shorter box that really didn't, you know, accommodate quite as much. So this is my chuck box, and it took me about, well, I started Wednesday and now it's Sunday, so I pretty much made a full-time job out of it, so about 4 or 5 days.